Welcome to the Deucecast Extra, The Mandalorian, Chapter 7, The Reckoning.
Yes.
Oh, what an episode. This is one of my favorites. Apologize in advance for the weird time. You know, we're all over the place with this show as far as what time it goes live, but you guys can catch it later. It's awesome. It's a great episode. This is Strandcast Mikey. I've got Scout Trooper Ryfin to my right. What's going on, Scout Trooper Ryfin? How's it going, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Loving some Mandalorian still. It's such a good show. And then below me, I don't know if it looks that way on y'all's screen, but I've got Earl Karga down there. What's going on, Earl?
Mando, we're going to take care of this problem.
That's a pretty good Carl Weathers right there.
That's the best Carl Weathers I could pull.
Hey, that's impressive. I like it a lot. Man, this episode, it's obviously this is like the fourth time I've seen it, but again, I'm catching new things every time I see these things. We were joking around last week, I think, about the whole Strandcast thing. And it was in this episode. I totally forgotten. Din Djarin mentioned it, so it's a thing that like people apparently just know about all of a sudden.
Well,
in the Star Wars universe,
right? Quill or.
Well, no, Din Djarin mentioned it, and Quill said, no, I don't think that Baby Yoda is a Strandcast.
Yeah, he looks like he's been through evolution or whatever he said.
Yeah.
He sees that.
He said he's too ugly or something. I think that's what he said. He's like, he's too ugly to be a Strandcast, which I thought Strandcast was somebody. I don't get the whole Strandcast versus clone thing. I haven't done the research. There's a difference apparently.
So is what's his name? Wait a minute, is Snoke a Strandcast or is he a clone?
Right, no, Snoke is a Strandcast
because they're ugly, right?
I guess, but no.
That would go against what Quill said.
But Palpatine's son was a Strandcast also.
Hello.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, what's up, Melissa? That's weird. I couldn't see that she was watching. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, now it shows. Okay, awesome. What's up, Melissa? Thanks for coming. Sorry for the weird time. But yeah, the whole Strandcast thing. Yeah, but what's weird is, you know, Palpatine's son looks totally normal, and he's a Strandcast. So I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. I have not. I need to. I've got the Star Wars book coming in the mail. I will research in the Star Wars book and figure out what the difference between a Strandcast and a clone is. I don't get it. But I mean, it's really funny that is kind of in the news or the online news because there's an excerpt about it in some book that just came out. I think maybe it's from the Star Wars book, an excerpt about Snoke being a Strandcast. And then nobody, at least I didn't remember that it was in this episode. I didn't remember that word being in this episode.
No, it kind of shocked me. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Did he just Strandcast?
Yeah.
It kind of freaked me out a little bit. I was like, whoa.
But let's sort of do like a recap. First of all, to do our datapad download, we've got Deborah Chow directing this episode again, she's great. She's fantastic. And then this one's back to just Jon Favreau as the writer, which I think maybe the last episode has Favreau and Taika Waititi as the writers also. I think he helped write some of the last episode, but we'll see when we get there. But we are at a point now where Mando sees this hologram message from Greef Karga saying, hey, we've got to get this warlord out of here. We've got to get this guy killed. I'm not liking what it's doing for my business, basically, is what it's coming down to with him. It's always about money when it comes to the Bounty Hunter Guild.
Yeah, that's what he says to Mando.
Right. Yeah, that's what he says to Mando to try and entice him.
Lure him in, right?
Kill him. Sure. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they want to kill him and take the child for himself, obviously, to try and get these ex-Imperials out of Navarro. I mean, he's like, this is really cramping my style. So basically Mando is considering that he needs a team. So this is like the A-Team episode, basically.
It's smart for him to do this.
Oh yeah. So we go back to Sorghum, and he's going to find Cara Dune, and we see a pretty cool little scene with her fighting a Zabrak, just randomly a Zabrak hanging out at the bar, doing this interesting little, almost like a what is that thriller where they hold the knives
It's like
together.
a tether, electrical tether or something.
Yeah, it's like an electrical tether, but it reminded me of Beat It. Remember that Michael Jackson video, Beat It, where they're doing the knife fight and they're like sort of grabbing a rope
tied at their hands or something. Is that right?
Yeah, they're like tied at their hand. It totally reminded me of that when I saw it. I was like, this is funny, and I thought it was cool that it's a given that when you turn it off, you're saying you're tapping out, basically. So instead of anybody dying, it's all for money. So the guy taps out and money changes hands. I love it. I mean, it was great.
Well, it's a great scene because it displays obviously the actress's skills.
Oh yeah,
she's been doing that kind of fighting before.
Oh yeah. And I like that because they utilize the fact that she's a MMA fighter, and they let Gina Carano do her stuff. I mean, and for the most part, and it's not like the stunts are too difficult, but she does that cool little flip move on him.
No, it's her move.
It's legit. I like it. I mean, it's good stuff, and I think she's had said she's gonna be in even better shape for season 2. So it'll be good. I'm sure we'll see more of that. I mean, that's her specialty, so they're going to let Gina Carano do that stuff. So I love it. So
I think the acting's getting a little better too. I feel like these last two
I felt this episode was better. Yeah, I certainly felt that the acting was better in this episode from her standpoint. Not that she's having to do too much, but it does take some convincing though for Mando to convince her to come. She's like not into it. She
wants to lay low.
She wants to lay low. Yeah, she said, I've got a bounty on my head, basically. And then all he has to do is mention that it's an Imperial that is taking over Navarro, and she instantly says, "I'm in." Like no hesitation. Like after that long diatribe,
not a long episode. You got to move on.
Yeah, well, quick jumps to different planets, and we got to go build this team.
And then
it's a fast
we do. From there, we go back to Arvala 7, where Quill's hanging out. And that you just mentioned it's a quick episode. That whole I don't know monologue that he had about bringing IG-11 back felt unnecessary. Not that I didn't like it. I liked it, but it just felt unnecessary. Him he was like, I secured the flotsam as
I love it, man.
Required by the New Republic. I mean, I like it.
I like the way that Nolte is kind of like doing that voice because it's
yes.
It's like some kind of windwalker out of the West or something. And then I secured him. I trained him in the way.
Showing him having the IG-11 having to relearn everything.
Yeah, exactly. That
might be a little long. You're right. It could be shortened.
It's just I'm like, we could have used something else instead of that. But I liked it. But I
think they're trying to get across to the audience that while Mando is very skeptical of this, IG-11 is fine. IG-11 has been kind of reformed under Quill.
Yeah.
It's going to come more into play next episode, of course. But
and then Quill, of course, in his wisdom, tries to explain to Mando that droids are neither good nor bad. They're just whatever
what you make of them.
What you make of them, whoever their creator is or whatever their imprint is what they're made of. Not that they're good or bad. I mean, and that's with Star Wars, droids are always interesting because in Star Wars, specifically in this universe, it seems like droids have more of a personality than in other science fiction universes. So I've always thought that maybe there was a little bit more there with droids in Star Wars, like they're almost more sentient than other droids would be.
They fall in love with Landos.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know Quill was what he mentioned, obviously, in that giant speech that he gained a personality throughout all of that, which is something I think we talked about last week. Droids with personalities.
Yeah, it's an interesting Star Wars thing. That's always kind of been that way. I mean, and it's funny to me that he kind of calls him. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Quill or if it was Cara Dune that asked him, what's his problem with droids, And he said, well, it's specifically this droid. It's not any other droid. This droid tried to kill. So,
which is not entirely true.
Not entirely true, because it really seems like Mando does not like any droids, really.
He didn't go to work with him at the beginning. So, I mean, it's...
This is true. Yeah, that's very true. So, again, it took a bit of convincing for Mando to get Quill to come with him. And it ended up being really mostly on Quill's terms. Quill was like, I'm going to bring IG-11. I'm going to
bring the blurgs.
I'm going to bring the blurgs.
Yeah. He's going to bring the blurgs. Which, by the way, I was seeing Battle of Endor the other day.
Yes.
It has blurgs in it.
Oh,
and I gotta say, blurgs look much better in modern Star Wars than the stop motion blurgs in that.
Oh, man. But that stop motion stuff,
it's great.
Special place in my heart for stop motion stuff.
It's great. No, it's great.
But I mean the first appearance of the blurg was back in the Ewok movie. So it's cool that they're brought back. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, how big is the Razor Crest where we've got 3 blurgs hanging out on the Razor Crest? Almost a full
It's like
crew.
the TARDIS almost.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the TARDIS. Like, I kept thinking...
He's got that cargo hold there where he had all those bounties stacked up in the first episode.
I don't know, man. I thought those were just, like, in the hallway. But, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe there was a cargo.
He had a little section. Maybe that's
like I kept thinking like Voyage Home with the humpback whales. Like, how big is the Enterprise? They're gonna fit a couple humpback whales in it. It was sort of It just reminded me of that a bit, like having all this stuff like bringing with him. So, yeah, I mean, and the whole thing with Quill was like, look, I can reprogram IG-11 or tweak his programming even more to make him sort of like protect the child even more, sort of be like a nanny almost to the child. Which I thought that was cool that we were going to get to see like the loyalty, like IG-11 have loyalty to protecting the child at all costs.
All from the programming.
So the whole team heads back to Navarro. They sort of land out in these lava flats. It almost looked like.
Well, you've skipped over an important scene.
Oh yeah, no, we know the Strandcast scene. Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, but when he's choking Cara Dune.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Yeah, and there's something mentioned in there. Yeah, go ahead since you brought it up.
Well, yeah, it's Mando and Cara Dune arm wrestling, and they're not really showing either side's winning, but I guess Baby Yoda is interpreting that as Mando being in danger.
Yes.
And he's going to protect Mando, and he starts force choking Cara Dune with his 3 little fingers. It's very cute, but also deadly.
Yeah. Like he had this like look on his face, like I will kill you.
No, she's a friend.
But
and then Quill says, "I've heard of such things."
Yeah. And again, I'm like, how do all these people act as if the Force isn't prevalent? I mean, I guess it's not
been that many years since they've had
exactly. I mean, they I don't know. I mean, I just don't understand.
I would think it would make more sense if different parts of the universe had different names for Jedi that weren't just Jedi.
That's true. No, I mean that makes sense.
But I'm not calling the shots. So
no, I mean that makes sense. I mean, obviously we've seen the Force manifested in different ways. I mean, you've got the Night Witches or whatever they're called, sort of with their own version of the Force. You've got Zeb's people from Rebels. His relatives had sort of like this weird Force thing going on
or something.
It was more magic. I mean, there's like the magic side of the Force, which the witches of Dathomir use, and Zeb's people sort of used this kind of version of the Force. That's interesting. Yeah. So
wills, Mikey, it's all the wills.
It is. Yeah. I know. I agree. I mean, I think as Yoda, so eloquently said in Empire Strikes Back, it binds us, it's all around us. I mean, so it makes sense that people can tap into it. I mean, as long as you've got enough midichlorians, you can tap into the Force.
Yes.
I mean, the midichlorians are of the utmost.
Those midichlorians.
You got to have the utmost importance, yeah. But yeah, I did want to mention also. I know we talked about it a little bit at the front, but before they left Ovala 7, I mean, there was that really quick mention of the whole Strandcast thing, where the Mando thought that perhaps Baby Yoda was a Strandcast. Queel worked in the gene pools, he said, for the Empire, so that's important. The Empire apparently has been doing a lot of this all along, even after the Clone Wars. So because you got to think about it, if Quill is specifically mentioning that he worked for the Empire in the gene pools, I mean, that's not necessarily something that we heard about at all in the original trilogy. We heard the mention of the Clone Wars, obviously, but we didn't hear any concept of there being a Strandcast or a clone or anything during original trilogy times. So it's interesting to hear Quill bring that up, and I'm sure we're going to come back around to some of this. I mean, that all along, obviously, the Emperor has had his mind on making a clone of something. I mean, obviously.
Well, I mean, I guess a clone in some sense would grant eternal life, maybe.
Sure.
And you can continue to live through clones.
Yeah.
Which I believe happened in the EU for the Emperor or something like that.
It did, yeah. I mean, there was some of that in the original Dark Horse big, huge release that came out originally, like in the 90s, where
Dark Empire or whatever.
Dark Empire, where there was a clone emperor, and I think there was even in the EU. I never read the books, but there was the Luke, Luuke, Luke, the clone of Luke. So yeah, I mean,
the clone of Anakin.
I get that cloning has always been a thing in the Star Wars universe for the most part, but it's never really been mentioned yet. I mean, this is really the first time that we've heard of, and again, I don't read the comics, so I don't know if they've played this up a lot on the comic side. But as far as, live action stuff, this is technically the first time Strandcast was mentioned, because this episode came out before Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's a great point.
So
literally
big deal.
Specifically came out beforehand, because it came out on the 18th. Something that we'll mention in a second. And then the movie came out on the 20th.
Yeah, very, very, very strategic of them to have Strandcast mentioned, and then this other scene happened that we'll mention. Oh, it's all planned. Everything it's the story group. It's the machinations of the story group. So we're heading back to Navarro at this point. They land in the lava flats, and
blurs. Or no, first they meet
Grief Karga and his 3 bounty hunters that he has with him.
I didn't like him. Man,
he's acting very suspicious in the scene. I mean,
yes.
Carl Weathers does a great job of acting suspicious in the scene.
Well, I mean, he only expected Mando, so that sort of screwed up his plans right then and there. Mando brought his team, and he even mentions that
the shock trooper stay with the ship, and
he's trying to get all kinds of stuff to happen in it. And Mando's like, no, everybody's coming with me, but IG-11 stayed behind.
Bring that shock trooper.
And then they mentioned the whole tattoo thing. I guess that is the insignia of the shock trooper, is that tattoo that she's got, and so that's mentioned a couple times in this episode that she needs to cover that before they get into the city or whatever. So I mean, they're heading back towards the main city on Navarro, and they camp out at night, and they're eating some beast or whatever. And
by the way, great source of fire, lava. I mean, that's ingenious.
Exactly. Yeah, they've
lava on the fire.
Exactly. That's smart. It's just one less thing to have to worry about, because they're on a lava planet apparently.
Yeah, they don't have to rub some stuff together, and
those huge Minoc looking thing, like these are like
they are Minocs. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
They look like Minocs.
They call them Tars or something. Like,
okay. Yeah, they felt bigger than Minocs to me. Like the Minocs that were in the
Tarsaurs.
Tarsaurs, maybe. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know where that's from. That's what they were saying on this little thing I was just watching.
that sounds right. I mean,
Terrace, I don't know.
Yeah, and
But
apparently
I thought they were Minox too, honestly.
Well, no. When I first saw them, I thought they were Minox, but I thought that they were maybe full-grown Minox or something because they were a little bit bigger than the ones on Empire.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Full-grown Minox, exactly.
Or something. I don't know.
Huh.
So, and they're poisonous apparently, because something happens. Grief
Somebody
Karga
gets bit. My people get bit. The Kargas.
The Kargas, Grief Karga gets bit,
or
and
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he gets scraped. Yeah.
So the poison, the bite, they weren't necessarily worried about, but the poison that those things have are not good. And sadly, don't we lose 2 blurgs at that point?
Blurgs gone.
Yeah, I think
wow.
two
That makes
blurgs.
sense because at the end of the episode, there was just Quill.
The one blurg, one blurg left.
Rest in peace, blurgs.
Yeah, rest in all the blurg. Hey, those could be the last 3 blurgs in the galaxy. We don't know. That could be an endangered species. I don't know. But they sure can handle any terrain. I mean, they do not. It can be desert, lava, rock. I mean, they can handle any terrain. So they're very reliable, which is probably why Quill wanted to bring them.
Not very fast though.
No, we find that they cannot outrun a speeder bike. They cannot. That's unfortunate, but so the big reason that originally I had heard that this episode came out on a couple days before Rise of Skywalker was so the audience could be prepared for when Rey, force healed Kylo.
Yeah.
So this was really totally. This was really the first time
that's what I heard at the time too.
That we had visually seen the Force used to heal somebody in that way.
That's fair.
So we see Baby Yoda utilize that particular Force skill, and
as Carl Weathers says, he's trying to eat me.
Yes, Carl Weathers he's trying to eat me, and so he gets healed, and everybody's in awe. Basically, I mean, obviously, this is the first time any of these people are seeing the Force used in that manner. I mean, we've seen Baby Yoda obviously do the levitate thing. We've seen him stop flames or stop. No, I think he stopped that's next episode. But
he tried to heal up Mando, I believe, in that one episode.
He did. Yeah, Mando was like, "Go away."
Taking him back, right?
So we're seeing a lot of different aspects of the Force being able to be utilized by Baby Yoda. And
l'enfant.
The way I understand the Force is not necessarily every person is going to have the same Force powers. Others are going to excel in different ways.
It's based on when the Terrigen crystals reveal their power. Oh wait, never mind. That's the Inhumans.
That's the Inhumans. That's not Terrigen dreams. No, exactly. So we're getting to see Baby Yoda like run the gamut almost with like Force abilities. I mean, this guy is levitating things
at 50 years old, which is young for his race.
Yeah, 50 years old, and it's funny because I guess we don't really know how much time went between the first time that Queel and Mando are hanging out, but apparently it's a little bit of time because Queel, while they're still on Arvala 7, mentions that the child has not grown much.
Well, it can't be much time, right?
It can't be much time, but I mean, we don't know. I mean, I don't know necessarily if it's been a month.
I don't think it'd be over a year. I mean,
no.
I imagine they have a slow growing process being his species since they don't mature that fast.
Yeah.
But B, they also don't get very big.
No. He's not going to grow too much more. He'll grow a little bit more, but not too much more. I mean, the biggest thing there is we're showing the healing power. That way, we're not surprised when we see it in Rise of Skywalker, which that's an interesting thing to do and a very strategic thing for them to do. Showing Baby Yoda do that first before Rey does it.
It also means he gave a little bit of his life to do that, based on the Rise of Skywalker.
Ah, interesting.
I mean, it's a small little cut, so I'm sure it wasn't that much. But to revive Kylo, for Kylo to revive her, he had to give his life essentially.
Michael does not recognize that movie.
Well, no. It's fine. I'll never watch it again, but it's fine. But it's interesting. That's an interesting thought. I mean, I didn't think about that much. I mean, as with any time that we have seen Baby Yoda use the Force, he is sort of like tired after it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he's a child. He's not used to.
Yeah, I mean, but we've still seen him exert very powerful methods of the Force, though. I mean, lifting that mud horn could not have been.
Took it out of him. He was.
Well, I mean, if we're comparing seeing him lift a mud horn to how Luke has a hard time lifting certain things in Empire, I mean, apparently the bigger the item, the more it takes out of you. Is kind of the concept there, and because Baby Yoda was down and out like most of that episode after lifting the episode after lifting that mud horn, he was still like trying to recover from that. But he recovered pretty quick from this.
I think with any one of those fantasy type things, you have to have consequences for it.
Yeah.
Luke didn't necessarily faint when he did some of the stuff later on in his career, but he was a much stronger Jedi at that point and had trained to that point to be a much stronger Jedi. Though, that brings it back to the Force healing thing. There's consequences for Force healing, as we see in Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and to your point though, like different levels too. I mean, that was basically bringing Kylo back to life.
Yeah, but there's also the snake they show or whatever, that little creature that she heals up.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was supposedly dead when she did that or if it was just badly injured.
No, it was just injured.
Yeah. So but to your point, I think at different levels, like so, Baby Yoda healing that little cut, not a huge deal per se.
He just sat down afterwards. He was like,
yeah, he just took it easy for a second,
for a minute.
Right after that. So it's not a big deal. So, I mean, the big thing that comes from that though is it really changes Grief Karga's mind about the whole plan. He to the point where when we first cut away from, the next scene is him sort of like whispering to his bounty hunter friends, and pointing to his arm and talking. You think, he's got something going on.
Yeah,
but
like he wants it for himself, that kind of thing.
He wants it for himself, but the very next scene is sort of him taking those two guys out to protect the Mandalorian.
Did it in a great way too, because you think he's going to turn around and shoot, the fake out.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
He had worked on it with those guys because they were getting ready to shoot.
Oh yeah.
Both Mando and Cara Dune.
Yeah, it was looking bad for Cara Dune and Mando at that point. But then Grief Karga took him out, sort of explained, look, here's what was really going to happen. Yeah. But now I've changed my mind, and this is too big of a deal.
Had Quill already been sent off with Baby Yoda?
No, he was still around at that point.
This is when that happens. Afterwards, he explains everything, and then they come up with a plan where they take the pod, and then Quill leaves and goes to the ship, and they go and meet the client.
Yeah,
that's right. They had to come up with a plan, and then
So I mean,
there and change and cuffs.
Really, the next few sequences apparently don't happen in that long of a time. It's a pretty quick amount of time that goes by because, like you alluded to, Quill and the Blurg is really slow going to get back to the Razor Crest. But in the defense of that particular scene, they did have to stop and spend the night somewhere before going into the city. So it's not like this was a short journey. They
didn't want to park near the city, and I think they mentioned that when they were in the ship earlier in the episode.
Right.
Because they don't want to get ambushed, or
they want to go in like stealth. Well, because another funny thing that Grief Karga was doing throughout the whole episode is trying to make them feel as if there weren't that many stormtroopers hanging out. Throughout the whole thing, he was like, there's only 4. It's no big deal.
4 scout troopers at the entrance.
It was 4. I mean, there was a whole battalion basically. Of stormtroopers, and
even before the transport pulled up, there's like a lot.
Oh yeah, there was a ton hanging around. He mentioned it when they got into the bar where the client was, that there's only 4 in here, or four at the door or whatever.
Yeah.
And
then there was more.
Then there was a lot more. So, and that whole, every word that Werner Herzog speaks is just, I mean, when he was talking about the
prosperity of the empire,
the prosperity of the empire, and then he mentioned the Beskar and the craftsmanship of the Beskar.
Yeah. When it's done by its whatever he said.
Oh yeah, he said when it's done by the ancestral. I mean, it was such a weird, like, all of that was so great though.
R.I.P. the client.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, was such a.
I want to see the baby. I like how he said that.
I want to see the baby.
Bring me the prom.
So we've really heard that this character referred to as the child, a baby. I think Grief Karger calls him a kid in this episode.
Yeah.
So we've heard, nobody knows how old this thing is. So everybody's just whatever the age is. But yeah, I want to see the baby.
Well, I think the client. See, I think the client knows more about this stuff.
Well, they've been able to do tests on him. Yeah,
they did perform. Dr. Pershing did perform some tests. We don't know, what exactly they were doing. But
maybe he was testing to see if it was a strand cast.
maybe. Yeah, I mean, the strand cast thing is baffling to me, but hopefully I'll figure that all out at some point.
The client all of a sudden gets a call.
Yes,
the client gets a call.
I have a call.
Yeah, exactly.
From a very important character.
Did he say, like, excuse my rudeness or something?
Yeah,
or something
like
something along those lines?
I have a call or something.
I have a call. So we see another hologram, and it's Moff Gideon. This is the first appearance of Moff Gideon.
Yes.
In the series, and I think at that point everybody probably knew that the Giancarlo Esposito had been cast in that role by that point, but it was still cool.
I think we had gotten the news. Yeah.
Yeah, it was still cool seeing him, in this episode. It was good grief, and that entrance that he makes. So, yeah, I mean,
well, he asked him if the baby is really there, because Moff knows.
Yeah, Moff Gideon knows.
Which I don't fully understand how he does, but good Lord.
He knew, and he just used his death troopers to just mow everybody down, basically.
So wasn't there some kind of transmission that they picked up?
They picked up Quill, but they picked up Quill.
Yeah,
Mando talking to Quill, heading back to the ship. But that was after
that was after this scene.
That was after that scene. Yeah.
After they blow the wall out of the.
Well, yeah, because he kept trying to call him over and over, or he kept making communication with him over and over again. You would think that he would know better than to do that, but I mean,
and Quill's really trying to get there.
Oh yeah, he's got that blurg has probably never moved so fast. I mean, he's trying to get back to that ship.
Got the baby, he's holding it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of arm length to hold a baby. But.
No, he doesn't. No, it's very difficult. It's a task that maybe somebody else should have had. But
and Jason Sudeikis and the other guy take off on the speeders after him. That's his.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
We'll find that out, but
it does say that. Like, I looked on IMDb, and it doesn't mention Jason Sudeikis' name in this episode, but it does mention Adam Pally, who's the other guy. Yeah. So I assume
it's definitely Sudeikis in the next episode.
It is in the next episode.
Yeah, it's the same 2 guys coming back, right?
Yes,
right,
because they have Baby Yoda.
They have Baby Yoda.
They hit.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, the Death Troopers mow down, a lot of the bar patrons.
The Death Troopers.
It kills everyone except for the characters we care about.
Yeah. Well, they were further back, so they were able to tilt the table up and use that as a shield. But yeah, we get the idea at that point that Moff Gideon is not a person to be trifled with in any way.
He doesn't go around, does he? Man, he's
no.
He did.
With you, brother.
Yeah. And so the amazing entrance with this TIE fighter, and that's the first time we've seen the TIE fighter sort of the wings close, and it's just a really cool looking scene.
Man.
And it's just amazing to me and I'm still amazed by the whole technology that they're using, because that looks so cinematic. That entrance of that thing, like it looked like, it does not look like a television show. And it's cool. I love it.
And he hops out of the plane. He's really confident, and pretty much is just telling him, "I'm about to get the baby."
Yeah.
Which is why Mando starts calling Quill.
Yeah, Mando starts calling Quill. They pick up that transmission and send those two scout troopers.
Oh, that's true. He already knows. He already has the scout troopers deployed to get him, right?
Well, it's all happening like kind of concurrently.
He already seemed to know that before they even headed out. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, he knew that.
I wonder if they picked up another transmission they had.
They may have, and they may have told him to sit on this radio channel, that kind of thing.
I'm assuming that in season 2 we're going to see that there's a Star Destroyer up in orbit. I mean, that you can't just have a TIE fighter. Well, I mean, we have seen some TIE fighters.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that there's a Star Destroyer.
Maybe they were, what is it, light speed skipping or whatever that was?
Oh, God. Well, we never need to mention. We never need to mention any of that ever again.
It's a fun scene.
It was fun, but good gracious, light speed skipping.
Mike has some trouble with it.
I do have some trouble.
That is tainted. He is.
I know.
He's tarnished your view of.
Well, I'm a Strandcast of the original Michael, so yeah, exactly.
That's a good point. Okay, and then right at the end, man, Quill's huffing, going as hard as he can.
Yeah,
and you get hit with the cliffhanger ending.
Why is it always the character that is the most innocent that just buys it? I mean, it's a trope that's been around for years, but it's always like
he's not the main character. He's probably the most expendable of the group.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean,
and that scene had a little vibe to me of like when Luke went back to look at his parents and the smoke was coming off bodies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was like, oh man, oh no. And it's kind of like, is he live? Is he not? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
he's definitely not alive. And so we see the scout trooper snatch Baby Yoda, and kind of the episode ends at that point.
Yeah, and because of this push to move that episode back before Rise of Skywalker,
right?
If you were doing this in real time, we'd have to wait 11 days to see the finale.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I didn't.
When did they drop the finale? Is it?
I think it was like the 29th or whatever.
Yeah, it was after. I mean, it was. No. It was still in November, or still in December or whatever. But
yeah,
I thought they dropped it early. I thought they dropped it on like a Tuesday or something.
No, they dropped this episode early. They moved this episode to like 2 days before Rise of Skywalker.
They did that with a few episodes, though. This season seems like it's going to be consistent, but they moved a lot of stuff around.
I think season. Well, I mean, they've released the schedule.
Let me redo that. It was the 18th and the 27th, so it was 9 days. Still 2 more days than you would have had to avoid if it had released on the normal day.
Yeah. Okay, so the finale came out on December 27th, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So right after Christmas.
Right after Christmas. That's not bad. I mean, yeah. And what a finale it is.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
A fantastic director working on it.
Yes, very much so.
Deborah Chow, I just can't say enough good stuff.
Yeah, I know Deborah Chow. It was episode 3, I think it is, and she does episode 7 as well. Those are 2 of the best episodes in the series.
Yeah, which is pretty much why she's at least doing a lot of the show, not show running for Obi-Wan, but she's doing something.
Yeah, I'm glad she's involved in that project.
Yeah, I mean, it basically springboard. They were confident enough to give her that job. Basically, I mean,
once Ewan's done motorcycling through the
right now, here's what's interesting. So since Obi-Wan is a limited series, it's not being labeled as a traditional series like The Mandalorian.
Okay.
I bet you know what? I bet she is directing all of it. I bet since it's only going to
be, I think
it's only like 4 episodes, I think, and so I think
she is directing all of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I think that for a limited series, I like that. I mean, it brings some consistency to it. There's a couple of HBO series that are limited where one director directs all the episodes, and you really get a clear vision of that. So I like it better that way.
And with Obi-Wan's life on Tatooine, how much more do we need to see other than like maybe a 6-episode miniseries?
Yeah,
of him sitting in the desert. And
Yeah, because you don't want to have
Hey,
him
Luke.
too revealed or too,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think that based upon some of the rumors for that series, there's going to be a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, they've got Hayden back to do some flashback scenes. I've read that as well.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
So
That's a rumor.
Is Deborah Chow going to direct any season 2? Do we know?
They put out the director
no,
list.
she does not.
Okay.
No, she does not. It's Robert Rodriguez. Favreau actually directs an episode this time. Filoni's back. Famuyiwa's back.
Yep.
Bryce Dallas Howard's back.
Yep.
I think Taika Waititi. No, he's not back.
Is he not?
Robert Rodriguez took over.
Rodriguez will be good.
And Peyton Reed, I want to say, is maybe doing one. I think the Ant-Man guy. Isn't Peyton Reed the Ant-Man guy? I thought that he was doing one of those. I don't know. That's off the top of my head. I'm not even looking at anything. I think that's right.
Bryce Dallas Howard. I mean, it was fine.
Let's see.
Do you have that list in front of you there?
I'm trying to find it.
I thought that they released a list also, but
yeah, they do release a list, but then people write articles and they don't put it in a list form, so you can't easily read it.
Of course. Yeah, I think Favreau does the.
Let's see. Wikipedia has nothing.
Nothing.
Well, it says Rick Famuyiwa, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Bryce Dallas Howard, Peyton Reed, Robert Rodriguez, and Carl Weathers. That's right.
Oh, that's right. Carl Weathers is directing one. That's right.
Yes.
So yeah. So really, the only directors we lose. Well, we lose Taika Waititi. We lose Deborah Chow.
But we gain Carl Weathers.
We gain Carl Weathers, Robert Rodriguez, Peyton Reed, and that's it. Well, and Favreau. So four new directors. So I guess that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great. That's going to be cool to see. I love Robert Rodriguez, so that'll be cool to see him.
Did you say Carl Weathers was directing one?
He's directing one. Yeah, he's directing.
And then Rodriguez's one, we're gonna have Machete.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if Danny Trejo showed up. That would be so awesome. So, well, I think we covered everything, guys, for this particular episode. And I'm definitely looking forward.
Cliffhanger. We got to find out how it ends.
Gonna have the finale, and then we're really gonna go right into it. I mean, we're gonna try and be as consistent as we can. Obviously, the episodes will come out on Fridays when season 2 starts. We'll figure out a schedule. We'll figure this out. We'll maybe have to do it on Saturdays if we can.
That's fine.
We'll see.
They're doing
Go ahead.
They're doing a look at season 2 on Monday Night Football this week.
Yes.
So want to check that out, obviously. Tune it in. Even if you don't love football, it'll be there probably.
Well, I mean, I was going to watch the game anyways.
Yeah, I know.
The Cowboys. It's the Cowboys playing, so I was going to watch it anyways.
Yeah.
Even though we're without Dak, but it's that's very sad that
you
we're
never want a bone to come through your skin.
No, you do not. Yeah, is that bad, Dr. Earl, when a bone comes through your skin?
Yeah, typically that's not the preferred thing you want to have.
All right. Well, I really appreciate Melissa sticking with us through the episode. Thanks so much for watching live. If you didn't catch it live, the main thing with YouTube, subscribe, like, share, comment, turn on your notifications so you'll get a notification whenever we start doing a live episode. But this will be out there. Make comments afterwards. I'll do my best to jump on and respond to any comments that you guys make. But really appreciate you watching us. Thank you so much, Scout Trooper Ryfin and Earl Karga, for joining me. And we will be back next week for the season finale of season 1, and then we're gonna jump right into season 2
baby.
the very next week. So
Excited.
Thank you guys for watching. This was the way.